Hello guys, my name is Gabriel Roberts from Roberts Bushcraft. Today will be our first installment of the Back to the Basics series. We're going to be doing fire making. Let's get started. So there are three things that you're going to need to make a fire. You need heat, fuel, and oxygen. Now that's non-negotiable with any fire you create. They have to have those three things. So down here we're just going to be looking for fuel. As you just saw there, we've collected some prairie grass on the way in here. We're going to be looking for things to fuel the fire with. So we're going to get twigs about pencil lead size to pencil size, then pinky size, index finger size, on up. You guys are going to see in this video. So we're going to be looking for that down here, and then we're going to get a fire started. So come along with us and let's see what we got. So we're down here at this cedar tree collecting some of its bark to use as tinder. On a side note, we get asked this question a lot. What should you do first? Fire, shelter, what's the most important? Now, Dad and I both believe in it's always situational dependent. On a day like today, calm, sunny out, good temperatures, you have more time to work on a fire first. Whereas if you're in extreme conditions, heavy rain, a blizzard, something like that, you're going to want shelter first because you need to get out of those elements to stay alive. So on a day like today, I feel a fire could definitely come first. Cedar tree really has everything you need. Again, find small twigs. It's got the thicker branches, and almost always you can find some dead limbs. That's your pencil lead sized twigs.
So Gabriel's going to gather up more, a lot more, like this, along with this tinder, along with the grass that we have, and we'll begin to put this thing together. Resources for your fire can be found just about everywhere. Down on the ground here, there's plenty of deadfall, and these appear to be dry. So we'll gather a bunch of these, but you always want to look up too. That is good and dry wood. So, look on the ground, look up in the trees for dead limbs. And what happens with these, if it rains a lot, the wind will dry these out pretty quick.
Now if you notice on this deadfall here, you notice it's very springy. So I go to, let's see if we can get that focused. I go to snap this, and it never really has that good break that you want, that real good snap. Now that normally means that this is wet wood. It's a green wood really. So this is going to be a little more sappy, maybe even has some higher water content. So you're probably going to want to steer away from very springy material like this, very springy deadfall, because that normally means it has some water in it. So this is one way to process deadfall. So Dad's just taking this log here and sticking in the Y of this tree. And you'll notice you get very good leverage this way, and you gain the mechanical advantage by putting it between these two trees, making a really easy, simple to do way to process firewood.
And added benefit to this is I don't have to bend down to pick that up off the ground. Another way, just stomp on it.
So we've got most of the materials collected that we need to start this fire, or kindling. So here you see the smaller pencil lead size twigs. This works absolutely perfect because this builds a great base for your pinky size twigs. Pinky size, maybe a little larger right here. Moving back to what we'd call pointer finger size, index finger. Maybe a little larger here as well. You can be a little lenient on dry days with dry wood, as well as once you start to develop a nice coal bed, you can start putting larger pieces on. So moving down from this, we've got some larger stuff. And then finally, we've got our largest stuff, which maybe wrist size at the most. Again, that's even a little more wetter wood, but again, once you get that good base built, you can start to be a little more lenient on what you choose there. So to begin with, I'm going to build a little bit of a framework here out of some of these larger size sticks. Basically what I'm doing is just making a triangle of sorts just to block a little bit of a wind, and again just to provide somewhat of a framework for this to go on. So you see that there? Now I'm just going to bring my smaller twigs over to this side. Go and get all those. And my larger, medium-sized stuff to the other side. Now, it's getting a little hectic right there. That's completely fine. You're going to want all that. So, for this demonstration, I'm just going to be using a Bic lighter, which I would recommend that you start with. Bic lighter, instant flame, it's absolutely perfect. In this tinder bundle, we have some cedar bark, as you can see right there in the middle. That's going to provide just a little extra burst of flame. It's right there, just a little bit. Right there. It's going to provide just a little extra burst of flame, and it'll really help get this thing started. So Dad and I both like to light this tinder bundle from the bottom, or any tinder bundle for that matter, rather than on the side. See, if you were to light it on the side like this, normally what would happen is if you were to light it on the side and set it right down into the fire pit here, only 1/2 of this will burn. You'll be left with unburnt grass on the left side or the right side, depending on which side you light. And you'll have a lot of tinder that could have been used to help this fire get started, but it wasn't because we've lit incorrectly. So if you start down here from the bottom, it only makes life a lot easier. You see, dry grass goes a long way. So you see that? And then, since we have such a good tinder pile there, we can just go ahead and slowly feed on these sticks. Pick them up with your hands a little bit. Again, these are small twigs, so these things are going to light up quick. And one of the key ingredients is having that good framework, as you saw right there at the beginning. And you see these twigs are just catching up really nice. This is why it's so important to spend time and to gather your materials up. And now we'll go a little slower with these bigger sticks. Just gonna lay these on by hand. Taking a little more care in this. But again, guys, on a clear day, good dry wood, you can basically just pile this stuff right on because it catches up nice and high. And it works out pretty good. We're at a point now where we can kind of move this back to the center, as you see here. And we'll just let this all catch up, which won't take long at all. Again, dry wood. And guys, you saw that was really quick. Bic lighter is absolutely awesome. Now, I set the framework up like I did for this fire because the wind's at my back, or it's coming across my back rather. So it's coming across this, and you want the fire to get fueled by that oxygen. Again, you need oxygen to have a good fire. You see how good this is burning right now because of all that oxygen coming through. It's constantly fueling this fire with that oxygen, and it's really working out great. Again, to spend a little bit of time figuring out where your wind's coming from, and you can get a really, really awesome fire. And now you see we're at a point where we can start laying on some of this bigger stuff. I'm doing this fire in a TP configuration. As you can see, all these sticks are kind of, here we go, we can just show you with these. Kind of building your sticks up like this onto the fire. And then again all the way around. So kind of just put the ends up like that. And this makes for a, again, you've heard me mention a few times already, framework. If you set your fire up right, you're going to get a good burning fire. It's going to work out really well. So one reason we like to do the TP style fire, you see, if it was raining right now, it would hit the pieces of wood on the outside and the rain would run down. So in a sense, it's protecting the coal bed in the center of this fire. Now, another option is something called a log cabin fire. It would look something like this. It's just, well, it's the structure of a log cabin. So, if you've ever messed around with Lincoln logs before, very similar to that. You lay it up and you keep kind of crossing them over here, and you just build it up. Very simple, and it works great, especially for split timber, split pieces of firewood. There works really good. But you'll see there's really nothing protecting that coal bed in the center. If you remember in our kebab video, we split some timber up with our hatchet, and we did the log cabin style fire building method there. And I find really that's where it excels, with split pieces of firewood. Very hot burning fire. Again, once you build this thing up right, and this of course is just going to come with practice, practice, practice. The more you do this, easier it'll become, and you won't even have to think about it before too long. You just do it.
Now, we're not going to let a good fire go to waste, so we brought out a treat today that we're going to make, or actually bake, in our Stanley French presses. We're going to do peach cobbler, and Gabriel's going to do peach cobbler in his, and I'm going to do some kind of like a berry medley in mine.
So folks, our fire right now is going pretty good actually, but if you find that your fire is starting to die down, you might need to blow on your fire. Now, it's something you might not think of if you've never seen it done before, but simply all you do is just come down here. Normally you want to start at the base of your fire here, so where your coals are. So heat rises. Simply blowing on it, it can rekindle some flame. And again, since the heat rises, you normally want to blow down at the bottom so the heat would rise up through these, causing more flame. So another thing that you might not think to do, if you have some wetter pieces of wood, might be a good idea to kind of line them up around the outside edges of the fire. Basically all that's doing is just allowing them to dry out a little bit. You might want to kind of clear the area out around your fire pit just in case if this does accidentally roll off, something like that. But if you listen closely, you might be able to hear that sizzling sound. And what that is, you can actually see it right there, is just water boiling out of those logs there. Now another thing to keep in mind, if you are laying these pieces of wet wood around the outside edges of your fire, leave the side that's open, or leave a side open that's in the wind. So of course, if we were to take a log and lay it across this right here, you'd be blocking the natural wind that's coming through, helping keep good oxygen. Remember oxygen, keeping oxygen to this fire. If you were to lay a log right there, that oxygen would be cut off. Would it completely put out your fire? Maybe not, but you don't want to run those risks. So keep that side open, and it will allow your fire to burn pretty good.
Love this thing. Stanley French press. Boil and brew. Mini loaf baking pan, coffee, sugar, creamer. That's going to be a treat today. Okay, got our fire burning down. We're gonna let it burn down the coals. Coffee heating up. So get a little coffee out of here. We're gonna make up our cobblers, put them on the coals, and have us a wonderful treat. Whee! That's a cup of goodness right there.
So, first off, when making my peach cobbler here, gonna have to melt down half stick of butter. Now we have the full recipe linked in the description box down below. It'll take you to robertsbushcraft.com, and on that story you'll see the full recipe. Now I'm halving that today, seeing as I'm going to be using a mini loaf baking pan. Got canned peaches here, so we're each using a quarter recipe for these mini loaf baking pans. So I've got a quarter of a stick of butter right here. Dad's got a quarter. And all I'm going to do is just set this near the fire. Let that start kind of melting down a little bit. This has eggs, milk, vanilla extract. I believe that's all that is. But again, full recipe will be linked in the description box down below. Part of the egg right there. There you go. So folks, just gonna lay these peaches out. Very important that you don't add the syrup that they're in into this mix. Never tried it like that before. It probably wouldn't turn out bad, to be honest, but it would make more of a runny consistency there. Fishing these out of a can is a little on the difficult side. Oh yeah. Guys, let me tell you something. This cobblers that we do outside are just awesome. And we all, for the ones that we've done, we use that same base for the batter. Use the sugar and flour mix. It's almost a one-to-one mix, which is a little scary, but it turns out to be something pretty awesome. I'm gonna load this thing a little heavy with the peaches. Normally you want to stop somewhere. You really don't want to fill this up too much, but I don't see any harm in it. We'll lay one more in there. There we go. Okay, so then we'll pour the batter on top of that. Well, actually, hang on. We've only got one more little piece of a peach in there. Okay, cool.
Okay, now mine, I've got strawberries and blueberries.
This is going to be interesting. It really is.
And what we're going to do is pretty much the exact same thing.
Just replace these real quick.
And it's important that you don't mix this. You just dump it in.
Oh, man.
And again, you got to resist the temptation to mix this. Just let it sit.
Guys, this is something special. Check that out. All those juices kind of gives it a little bit of a different color. You see the peaches are all kind of a yellow tone, whereas this is got some red in there.
Put a little more batter in there, just a little.
Okay. Let me know when to stop.
That's probably good.
All right. Nice.
Now, you have to be careful with this one because this is more of a liquid going in there.
You definitely don't want this to spill.
You don't want to spill it. I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world if you spilled it, but I mean, it's just going to burn. Smell real bad. So
your family would disown you. You know, you get kicked out of society.
that's right.
You've been outcast.
Okay, so now I've got this on. I'm gonna do my best to keep it level so I don't spill anything out of the sides. This is gonna go in the fire.
Awesome.
Well, didn't mean to pop that lid off, but that kind of worked.
Man.
Look at that.
Guys, we do some good baking out here. Man, check that out. You couldn't ask for anything better than
You
that.
really couldn't. That is absolutely beautiful.
Man. Okay, well, I already know. Please don't be this person in the comments. You'll burn your face off eating that. I gotta try a scoop. You know I can't.
Just a little.
You know I can't. Just look at that. All right, let's see. This side it looks a little bit more crispy, so I think I'm gonna go with this side. Honestly, just to give it a try.
You better blow it off pretty good, though.
You ain't lying.
It's like molten lava. I know you said not to be the person in the comments, but hey, that's the dad in me.
All right, let's just. Oh yeah, look at that.
That looks. Oh yeah, that's cooked.
That's good. This is good cobbler material. If you couldn't tell by us making a cobbler.
Man, look at that.
Come on. Let's...
Really,
Okay.
blow that off pretty good.
Yes, because all 9,000 taste buds gone. Not terribly warm, actually. I already know, like in my mind, when I do this, that is awesome. Guys, you cannot ask for anything better than that out here in the woods. Just get a look at that. The batter tastes awesome. Again, when you mix in, it's just a perfect combination of flavors here. Excuse me as I go in for another bite.
It's got to be good if you're going in for a second bite. That hot.
Man, that is awesome. I mean, and it's just perfect out here. Again, you know, showed you how to create really the perfect campfire.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons it's important to know the skill of fire making. Your life might not always depend on it, but
Sure
without
can.
the skill to build a fire, Dad and I would not be able to come out here and bake cobblers. Of course, guys, since the very beginning of this channel, boiling sausages.
Yep.
Baking bannock bread, baking muffins, baking cobblers. So, without that skill of fire making, this would never be possible. So again, you know, your life might not always depend on it, but sometimes it's just nice to have around.
I'm gonna blow any ashes out into the duff here. Ooh wee.
That smell.
Oh man, I wish you guys could smell that.
Look at this.
Oh man. Can you see that?
Yes, we can.
Oh my goodness. Look at that masterpiece.
I'm gonna go on record as saying we're pretty cool.
We like to eat good anyway.
This is awesome. Check this out.
Man.
I'm very interested to see how this is gonna taste.
Let me see the
Because it's a mixed berry.
yep, some mixed berries. Like I said, it's got strawberry in it, blueberries. Oh yeah, look at this.
Done very, very nicely.
I don't want it to burn me, so. Alright, now. Just kind of feel around a little bit. Oh yeah, can you see the
Oh, there you go.
That dough is nice and done. Oh man, this is going to be perfect.
Check that out.
I'll turn around and check this side. Look at that. Now my cobbler has just a little too much water in it. I didn't really take that into account when I was making this mix together. But this was a frozen treat, and I wanted to see how it was going to work out in this cobbler. And you can see here, it's kind of spooning it around a little bit. It's just a little too much. It was too watery. So the dough didn't, I don't know, you just see kind of here, it looks a little mushy right here in the middle. Tastes good. But next time I'm just going to use whole bits of fruit and not a frozen mix.
Ooh. Hot. Oh my goodness.
With
Man.
with the remaining 3 taste buds that you have, you were able to taste.
We're too stupid to let it cool. We can't help it.
Now, one thing I already know. With mine, I would like to have had a little more dough in there. Mm-hmm. I actually have more fruit than I have dough. But, wow. All the way down, look, that's all the way.
Perfectly done. Look, coming right off the bottom.
Coming right off the bottom. There's no stick there. Mix that up. Man.
Okay.
A little more dough. And I think I would be golden right here. But look at that. Man, oh man.
Blow it off a little bit more this time.
So folks, hopefully you have a clear understanding of how to build a fire in fair weather. Again, I mentioned it earlier, but we use prairie grass and cedar bark. Now, if you're at home trying to start a fire, you can simply replace that with cardboard in your yard if you have dry leaves, pine straw, things like that. Now, with pine straw and leaves, they can be a little iffy because it's like each little leaf catches on fire instead of the whole bundle. So you just have to do some practice with that, and you'll be an expert in no time, guys. So again, cardboard, paper bags work great at home. So again, hopefully you have a clear understanding how to start a fire, and practice it. Practice makes perfect. Get out there, start some fires, have some fun. Hey guys, before you leave, one thing I wanted to mention, we have an applause button. Check down below in that same line as subscribe, where you can like the video as well. There's an applause button, and basically all that is a donate button. Starts out at $2, $5, and it goes up from there. Make sure to click that. If you want to donate to us, we don't have a Patreon page or anything like that. So really, the applause button is the only way we can receive donations. If it's on your heart and you want to donate some money to us, that's where you can do it. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Please share this video. And as always, may the wings of liberty never lose a feather. And God bless.
Hold on a second.
And fix the sleeves so it look cool.
Yeah, like me.
Look cool. All right, let's see. You got to be cool. It is important. You got to look cool.